Hello, hello.
Caught. I was playing with cards.
That's
Hello,
naughty.
everyone.
Hi, Gail. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend.
Yes. What a beautiful day it was today. Did you get out in the sun? It was just glorious.
I was playing in the garden
Ah.
and playing with puppies and creating little oases. I don't know if that's oases. Anyway, I was whacking plants into what used to be the whelping box. I've now turned it into a pretty garden because there's no more whelping ever going to happen in this house. I'm done, I'm done with that. I'm done, done,
Hi,
done.
hi, Wendy. Nice to see you.
Hello, Miss Wendy. They
If
walked
some
past
people
my
are
house
joining
today.
us from the chat group, I've noticed that in the chat group there's an extra step that you need to take to say yes. You'll allow yourself to post comments for StreamYard. So just so everybody knows, there is a little extra step on that one. Just have to say yes, give permission, I think. But I'm terrible with technology, so through all my struggles with it.
Yeah, since I got put in Facebook jail and nothing works anymore. And when they changed Facebook to Meta, the whole thing's gone to hell in a handbasket.
Mm.
So I'm going to find somebody, I'm going to ring Geeks to Me and get them to come in and sort this whole thing out because I've got to the point where I'm just going to throw the computer out the window. And it
Yeah,
does not
yeah,
bring me joy.
yeah, yeah.
It
So if you're
doesn't.
online with us now, please share so more of your friends can see this as well, because we weren't able to post on directly to Celtic Tarot this time around.
No, I hope Jessie Cat's made it. Sometimes she
Yeah,
gets onto this YouTube.
yep, yep. So there you go. But yeah, another interesting topic tonight in our insights into the laws of spiritual success, Annie, with pure potentiality. And I had to laugh during the week, right? Because, I always say that sort of leading up to this, you start getting signposts of what we are going to talk about next. And then you sent me the message and said, hey, how about we do the law of pure potentiality this week? And I think I messaged you straight back. Oh, funny you should say that. I was just about to send you this. And it was a post all about that. So, you go, here we go. In alignment again.
Always. Which
We're not in
is,
control. We're not in control, which actually
no,
fits in with the law of pure potentiality, is
well,
letting
which
go of
is,
that control.
yeah. I mean, I just think a lot of people don't recognize their potential.
Yeah.
So that's what our meditation is all about tonight.
Hmm.
Um, it's about recognizing your potential. And the law of potentiality is all about just being, not doing, just
Hmm.
being. And I'm very good at just being.
Yeah.
Um, I can do nothing for hours. But look, I can. I can sit at a beach and just look at water, like
Yeah.
until the tide goes in and comes back out again. Like I've got no problem doing that.
Yep, stare into a fire for just lose time, or for me into the sunset, just lose
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Do you know what I find really interesting? There's all these people now that there'll be a sunset or they'll be at a concert, and instead of being, they're all looking at it through a mobile. And I think, why don't you just go home and watch the replay on a telly? Because you're not present if you're looking at or recording and
Yeah.
watching whatever is on through a bloody mobile. It's ludicrous. Maria, you want to ask a question? Of course, you can ask a question, sweetheart.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we'll be able to answer it, but
Yeah.
go ahead.
And if it's for a reading, we do offer those free readings in the second half of our show.
Yeah, Maria, if you check into my website or no, my Facebook page, every month I do, around about the 27th of the month, I do a general reading for the month. So 27th,
Mm.
28th of September, there'll be a general reading for the month.
Yeah, and that'll be a full general reading. But yeah, second part of the show, we do answer questions for people as well, either tarot or spirit guided messages. Hi, Gail. Yeah, the sunsets have been glorious. All the oranges and pinks have just been amazing.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah. Okay, Annie, I might flip over to you if we want to. We'll do the meditation and get everyone on the in the right. As I said before, our nice little moment to align with what we're about to talk about.
Okay. Here we go. So get yourself comfortable in your chair and take a deep breath in and let it out in a big sigh. Oh, let your body go slack on every out breath. Be aware of your breathing and take your focus to your feet. Relax your feet and your ankles, your shins and your calves, your thighs and your hips and your buttocks. Breathe in from your toes and sigh out, letting everything go slack. Take your focus to the base of your spine and imagine a column of white light slowly moving up your spine through your body. As it travels upwards, relax your belly, your ribs, your chest, your shoulder blades. Drop your shoulders and feel the light travel down your arms into your hands and fingers. Breathe in the white light, sigh out, relaxing every part of your body. Feel the light move up through your neck and into your throat. Relax your chin, your lips, your cheeks, and your eyes. Relax the muscles around your eyes and eyebrows. Feel the light moving up through your scalp to the top of your head. You are completely relaxed. There is nothing you have to do and nowhere you have to be. You are safe, you are warm, you are comfortable, you are completely relaxed. See yourself walking down a path towards a building. You get to the building and knock on the door. The door opens and you look down and see a younger version of yourself. She takes your hand and leads you through the door into a large hall. As you look around the hall, you see all the people whose lives you have touched in some way. Some may be familiar to you, some may have passed, some may still be here. There may be people you don't recognize, people you have said a kind word to, or who you helped in some way. They are all there to celebrate you. As you walk through the crowd, your younger self leads you to a stage. She takes you up onto the stage. As you stand at the front of the stage, the applause starts. People are cheering, thanking you for your kindness, for the joy you have brought to them, for just being there when they needed you. Your young self takes you by the hand and leads you through the cheering crowd and back to the door. As you leave, you thank her and give her a message. You hug her and kiss her goodbye. She may give you a message. You are full of joy and gratitude. You feel blessed to have touched so many people. As you return to the room, you bring that feeling back with you. knowing you have shared your love with so many people and have received their love in return. When you are ready, open your eyes. Give us a thumbs up so that we know you're back with us. Any comments about how that felt? When
I've
I
got
did,
tingles, Annie, all over me, just tingles.
when I did this, um, my young self was skipping beside me and like dancing around me, and she was in a dress that I hadn't seen or thought about for years and years, and it was my favorite dress. And the the message that I gave her was, "I am so sorry for all the shit I'm going to put you Strap yourself in, kid. You are in for a bumpy ride." And my young self just went, uh-huh. And I thought, bless your little cotton socks. And I am so sorry.
A truer word never spoken. What
Wendy
we
had
do,
goosebumps.
what
Wendy, I
we
don't call
do.
them goosebumps. I call them truth bumps.
Truth bumps. I call them
Yeah,
ghost bumps.
yeah. When you get that tingly, goosebumpy feeling,
Mm,
it usually means that you're resonating um, in the right way.
yeah, that's right. That means you're just aligned, so you get to know that feeling. You know.
Oh, I'm glad
Oh,
that your young self said that, Gail.
that's
Mine just
beautiful,
shakes her
Gail.
head at me. She just looks up at me and goes, "Oh, for the love of God, woman." I'm glad you liked it, Wendy. I'm
Yeah,
glad you liked it.
yeah,
You know, I think that really resonates because you never know. You know, you might just help somebody in a supermarket or smile at somebody. Like I've been walking through the shopping centres and I'll say to somebody, "I love your pants," or "I really like
mm,
your hair." And, you know, you might be the only person that has spoken or noticed or whatever.
mm-hmm.
And these are the people that you touch. And I know that we've got a lot of people in here that work, you know, in service industries or in a lot of you are in communities. Um, and sometimes you don't know what you've actually done.
Yeah,
Sometimes you're just the right person in the right place with the right words at the right time. And
mm-hmm.
you may never know the changes that you have actually made.
Yeah,
But you know, if you say things to people, sometimes it sticks with them, or it can change their day and maybe change their life. And you
yep,
sometimes you never know, you know, and it's easier with your family or your friends because they're around you and you know. But for you guys, this is really around um, recognizing your potential, um,
correct.
recognizing the potential you have to impact not
Mm-hmm,
only on your own life, but on other people's lives.
mm-hmm.
And that's why it's so important to just be and just sit and not have electronic devices and not, you don't need to do anything. You just
Yeah,
be. Look at a
mm-hmm.
tree, look at a flower, look at a
Yeah,
sunset,
yep,
because it's about being in nature and being present.
yes,
Does that
yes.
make sense, Kerrie?
It absolutely makes sense. And interestingly, Annie, for years and years on my Harmony for Tranquility page, I think my main comment or catchphrase in that is the art of being a human, be dash ing, just being, right? Not a human doing. Because that's what we become. We become human doings. And our lives get so frantic and busy. And we sometimes forget actually we're a human being and where we connect. And really, where we connect with our inner selves and that pure potentiality is in just being. and
Mm.
allowing that. And it's interesting, because and I mentioned before, before our live streams, um, well, I do, and I know you do it too, Annie, is we sort of do that moment, where we're taking that deep breath. Okay, now we're in alignment, and now we're going to let what needs to come through and those insights come through because we're aligning to that. And I think, doesn't it feel like sometimes that's exactly what we need in the bustle of our lives, just to do that moment where you can just let everything go? Um, and I really hope that during these live streams that we bring that to everyone here as well, that these live streams are a moment where you can all sort of sit back and go, I'm just going to connect with everyone and take a different little journey and listen to some information that I might be able to bring on in my life, to bring that joy and happiness and alignment into my life. And I really hope that that's what we do through our live streams. Just that it can be that moment in itself then makes it so much more meaningful and so much more precious when you actually take the time to connect with things, rather than rush, rush, rush all the time.
Yeah,
You know,
I think some people stay busy as an avoidance, or they
yes.
focus on other people's stuff, and that
Mm-hmm.
way they don't need to think about themselves or their own
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But to put the law of pure potentiality into action, you really
Mm-hmm.
need to know yourself. You really need to, and the hardest bit about that is not being judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I I because I keep saying it, community worker for 100 years. The first wave of refugees that came through were the Vietnamese, which is really ridiculous because I was tasked to teach them English. So there was all these wee tiny Vietnamese people all wandering about Australia going, hello, and saying, I came on a boat. And because they all had my accents. So that job didn't last very long. But we
Yeah.
did the Bosnians, we did the Serbians, I did the Somalians. And you
Mm-hmm.
know what's really interesting is that the media brand these people and they're boat
Mm-hmm.
people. And they come in and people get all judgy and they say
Yeah.
things like, well, they're taking our jobs or they're doing this or they're doing that or they're doing the other. But I
Mm-hmm.
was privileged to be able to listen to their stories. And if anybody
Yes.
who knows me knows I'm all about the story. And
Mm-hmm.
truly, the cat I worked with a lady who had walked across the Kalahari Desert on her own because her husband was killed in front of her eyes. Her and her daughter were raped, and they walked across the Kalahari Desert and escaped. And they had gone through 4 different countries before they finally managed, and it took them like 2.5 years to finally manage to get to Australia. And when you, and I mean, when I spoke with her, I was absolutely like, I can't even imagine what that would be like. I've got 2 children, and I cannot imagine what that would be like.
No, it'd be
Eh,
horrible.
oh, and like you look at these people and you just think, and you're still standing. How the
Yeah.
hell did you do that? And
Uh,
then
the
they come here.
resilience.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like for me, it would be like picking me up and putting me um, on the moon. I mean, imagine if you dumped anybody from Brisbane, Australia, in the
Mm-hmm.
middle of the Kalahari Desert. You would
Mm-hmm.
die. Like you've got no
Yeah.
conception. And when they come here, like this lady, this lady was glorious. She went into um we used to take them to show them how to like integrate into Australia. And she couldn't
Mm-hmm.
believe that there were shelves in supermarkets for pets, like all this beautiful food for doggies. And she'd
Mm.
actually bought a packet of doggy biscuits, didn't have a
Yeah.
dog because there
Yeah.
was a golden retriever on the front of it and she liked the picture of it.
Right. Yeah.
Explained to her that you can't eat them, sweetheart. They're for puppy dogs. But you know,
Mm-hmm.
when people look at somebody and see a color and not a
Mm-hmm.
person, That's
Yep.
really, and it's fear. That's all it is. It's
It is.
fear of
Yeah.
the unknown. But if you
Yep.
actually talk to them and hear
Totally
them
different. The
completely
humanity comes
different.
out. The humanity comes out and the connection comes out.
Yeah.
It can be such a different thing, So I guess when I think about the law of pure potentiality, and I did reread that chapter that Chopra wrote prior to this, but then I've also done some meditations and connections around it. And, I think that in a lot of ways, many of us just grew up with the total belief that to become successful in our lives, that we would have to experience relentless effort and hard work and struggle to achieve it. And by the time we get there, we're going to be damn well exhausted, too exhausted to enjoy it. That's part of it. But what he's presenting in this is there's another way to be there and there's another way to achieve it. And I think that that's really awesome. You know, so when I started thinking back, I thought, okay, so in this, he talks about stillness and being able to be still and to be able to connect. Now, immediately I started thinking about, well, when I was little, my dad used to say to me, Kerrie, can you not just sit still? Sit still for 1 minute, because I couldn't, right? I was just hyperactive. I was just enthusiastic and out there and always wanting to try stuff. And can you just sit still? He'd say, you make my head spin. Here's what he used to say to me. You run around so much, you make my head spin. Can't you sit and be still? And I was thinking, oh yeah, okay, well, is that stillness? Have I never really been able to achieve that stillness? Is that part of, also being young? And then I started thinking, actually, it's more than that. It's not about just being still. It's allowing yourself to be in that meditative state where you can put a question out there, and instead of thinking about what you think the answer is, you can just be in that place of quiet and allow the answer to come back in. It's a different and deeper level of stillness. So what do you think about that concept, Annie? Because that's the first thing that really comes into this law, is that being able to be still.
Yeah. Like you can worry and fret and faff around for hours,
Mm,
but when you stop overthinking, that's when your answers appear.
yep.
It's the same as if you're desperately seeking love, you ain't going to find it. You
So,
know, when you're not
that's right,
looking,
is that? Sorry, Annie. That is so right. I never stopped singing and dancing. I was entertaining everybody from an early age. You're
nothing,
exactly
nothing's
right.
changed. Nothing
Sit
has
down for a
changed.
minute. You're making me spin. As I spun in circles dancing.
Yeah,
Sorry,
so
Annie, go on. My
that's okay.
apologies.
I was just saying, if you're desperately seeking love, you're not going to find it. If you're desperately looking for anything, you're not going to find it.
Hmm.
If you just sit and wait, it'll,
Hmm.
like one of my things is I don't chase what I want, I attract what I need.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah.
how to do it.
Hmm.
The minute you start chasing your tail, um, you're just going to go round and round in circles, like
Yeah.
Ballerina Kerrie here, Nate
Yeah.
says, in her beret. Did you pap around in a beret, Miss Kerrie?
In her beret, yes, I did. I used to wear a beret, and I did. Oh, look, Annie, I was always onto some new thing or some new fad or some new, I
Shiny
actually
thing.
did have a great abundance for life when I was little.
I,
And I think somewhere, I don't know why we lose it. Maybe suddenly this full sense of responsibility and accountability for everything and trying to control what's going on. Nate, Nate, stop it. Stop it. I think that there is video. Oh my God. You are never coming on this show and you are never showing this video.
oh, Nate, if you can find it, send it to me because I'll post it.
That is so, and I was terrible. Like I wasn't good at any of this. I just like to do it.
I think, that's the thing, Kerrie. What you've just said there. When you're little, you have this, like everything is new and shiny.
Yeah.
absolutely everything. And you've got this joie de vivre where
Mm.
it's, oh, I can do this, and oh, I can do that, and oh,
Yeah.
and nothing gets in your way because you're bulletproof.
Yeah.
And then when
Yeah.
you get older, all of a sudden, I asked my dad once, he was about 47, and I had just had my daughter, and he wasn't happy with me because I made him a grandpa at 47. And I said to him, what's it like being old? And he said, you don't get old. He said, all that happens is you get more responsibilities. That's the only thing that happens. Just stay how you were when you were about 18.
Yep.
But
Yep. That,
all that
well, that's
happens is
right.
you
Is we,
get
is we get there. So,
but it's that
so anyway,
responsibility that stops the
I
joy.
think it does. I think it does because we suddenly go, is that the right decision? Is that the wrong decision? And we disconnect from that flow of energy of what brings us joy and happiness. Um, you know, and look, I'm going to go back to the comparison. I think a couple of weeks ago I used a comparison of a tree, and I'm sort of going to use it again here because I was sitting outside watching the sunset as I do, and I was looking out across the bush to the mountains, and it suddenly occurred to me that a tree doesn't have to make an effort just to be a tree, right? It just becomes the tree from the moment that the seed falls into the ground. And it begins that process naturally emerging into what it already inherently is. Um, and is there effort in that? Well, yeah, there is, but it's more of an effortless effort because the effort is absolutely in alignment with what the tree is at its core being. And I started thinking, well, it does have to adjust to environment and nature. So it could be drought or it could be, floods or it could be, so there is some effort involved, but it's just innately being what it was there to be. And then I thought, well, how does that actually relate to us and us as beings? And then I thought, you know what? It does have an awful lot to do with us, especially when we remind ourselves what our actual core nature is. And at our essence, our innate nature is spiritual, you know? So we're an expression of the one, we're an expression of that divine spirit or God or whatever word is most comfortable for you to describe the one, So we're an expression of that, and we're made in that image and after the likeness of that divine source energy. And that's what we are inherently and naturally. So when I remembered that, I thought, and if I align to that, then just like the tree, I can unfold with ease and grace. I don't need to put in like I have to flow with the environment and what's going on, but I can innately just be myself and emerge and grow in that space. So I know it's a weird analogy, but I just felt, yeah, well, that's when you begin, when you find that alignment, and when you understand what you are at your core nature, then just to grow with effortless effort that enables the pure potentiality because you're not putting up any resistance to it. Now, does that make any sense, or am I just rambling on? Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense because it's the law of least effort.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know, if things are meant for you, they'll come to you.
Yeah.
And if you think it and can visualize it, it can happen as long as you don't get in your own way. I
Yeah.
mean, Wendy says we turn into cowards when we become adults. This is not so much a learning journey that we're
Mm.
trying to step you through. What we're trying to step you through is unlearning. It's like you need a control alt delete switch. It's
Yeah.
unlearning all the shit that's got battered into you.
Yeah.
All the times that
Mm-hmm.
people have said, you can't, you're useless, you're hopeless, you're a failure. And when people say that to you, and that gets programmed into your brain, you forget you've got potential. And you
Yeah.
just think,
Yeah.
well, there's no point because I can't do it. And the
Yep.
minute you think, I can't, you're right. You
Yeah.
can't,
Oh, yeah. That's right.
you know? So instead of that, um,
Yeah.
you know, you need to flip that and flip your thinking. I keep
Mm,
saying this, and people think I'm mental, but the feeling, if you think about when you're feeling really, really excited, you know how
mhm.
everything is jangly and
Ganglion, yeah, yeah,
everything's hyper. It's the
yep,
exact same feeling as anxiety. The
it is.
exact
Yep,
same feeling. It's the
yep,
same emotion,
yeah,
except it's on two different levels.
yeah.
So when
It
you
has a
think,
different intent, a different
yeah,
and vibrational level because of intent. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So when you get that anxiety, if you can flip that and think, this is really exciting, I
Mhm.
can probably step my way through this
Yep.
instead of, oh shit, I'm really anxious. This is terrifying. You know,
Mhm.
if you stop being a coward as a grown up, because
Yeah,
when you're a kid, you see a tree, you climb the sucker. Now,
yeah,
you might get up to the top of it. I've done this. I've got up to the top and
yeah.
can't get back down again.
Mhm.
But you don't even think about that. I've built rafts and gone out on water. Whereas
Yep.
as grown up, I would think this is crazy. That sucker will never float. But
Yes,
as a child, you build the
it
raft, stand
will. It's
together,
gonna
and get
work.
on it, and you end up swimming to the bank, and there's logs and stuff going everywhere. But that doesn't occur to you when you're, 10. It's just
Oh,
so it's
yeah.
very much about being in the moment and not
Mm.
overthinking. And it's about least effort. So,
Yeah,
if you tell yourself it's like surrendering, it should be easy. Yeah, I give up. Like that's that's a really interesting statement, Gail,
yeah.
because that's there's so much truth in that. You
Mhm.
can stress till you can't stress anymore. And the minute you
Mhm.
surrender and
Yeah,
say, I'm done, I've
yeah,
got nowhere else to go, the universe will step in and
yeah,
flip and fix it.
yeah.
So it's when you get rid of that tension, anxiety, stress, and bullshit, the
Mhm.
universe will step in because you're not chasing what you
Mhm.
want, you're attracting what you need. And that's
Exactly.
what
Yeah.
potentiality is about. It's about believing in yourself and
Mhm.
believing that anything is possible. Kerry put a post up the other day that said, I don't know how it's going to happen. I just believe it will.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
that's exactly, yeah, Nate. Surrender to the moment, not to the
Moment.
fear.
Yep. That's right.
Flip the fear into excitement
Yep.
and just think, this is really exciting. Now,
Mhm.
this is strap yourself in. It's going to be a bumpy ride, but I'm going to get on this ride.
It's,
I'm going
yeah.
to go, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and unlearn all the shit that you've learned that scared you
Yeah.
and turned you into a coward.
Yeah. And look, I think that part of that transition that we're talking about of taking it out of fear and putting it into excitement, that to get that to happen in a way, I think that we need to get rid of ego, right? Because our sense of wanting to control the world or what's happening around us or control others or control the environment, right? Um, that is something we need to let go of in order to align and let the flow occur. Um, and instead, we just need to cooperate with the environment and go along with the environment, right? Rather than control it. And if we cooperate with the energy, um, then with whatever circumstances are in our environment, and if we stop fighting against it, then we align with the flow. So I think part of getting rid of this is the ego, because the ego is, what will others think if I do this? Will I make a bad decision? Here's all the fear stuff that comes in, right? How will this be viewed? Is it sensible? Will I be, so we start bringing all that stuff in, right? So if we can get rid of ego and just not worry about that, then we can stay in the flow. So I think that's a big part of it, Annie.
Yeah, very much so. The other thing about that is you can't control anything except how you respond.
Yes.
That's the only thing you can
Mhm.
control. Now, people can say the most outrageous things, and like I listen to other people's opinions, but that doesn't mean I have to fight with them,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
just because it's not the same as mine, like
Yeah.
I respect their right to have that opinion, even if I think
Mhm.
it's wrong,
Yep.
but there's no point in fighting with it.
Mm.
There's just absolutely no point in fighting it or
Yeah.
arguing with it or trying to change it. The other thing that
Yeah.
happens
That's
is
it, Karen. Trust
people,
yourself.
yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, people
Exactly.
make themselves responsible for other
Hmm.
people's behavior, and you can't control that either. So
Not
if
even your
it,
own children. Not even from
no,
a young age.
no, like if your partner's being a dick, just let him be a dick. It's, it's sorry, Kerrie, but you're not responsible for that. So let him go. Don't be saying, "Oh, you can't do that." And
Yeah.
find the like my sense of humor. That's what saves me from virtually everything.
Yeah.
Like if I'm up to my neck, if I'm terrified, I get
Hmm.
stupid. I
Hmm.
just get so silly.
Yeah.
Um, and it's the only way I can deal with things.
Yeah.
I, I'm going to say
You
bad
do
words
that.
again, but you're used to me now. I had I had a heart attack a whole lot of years ago, 20 years ago, and I had I call that a venous snitchel. It's a vagal, and I had 3 of them in a row. And first of all, when we got to the hospital, the doctor gave me a row for scaring my husband and told me not to do it again. And I thought
Right.
that's nice,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
But they got me sorted, they got me stabilized, and they took me up
Hmm.
to the ward. And the next thing I know, I wake up and the crash team are right round me. And I open my eyes and there's this man up above me, doctor up above me, and he's got the
Hmm.
paddles in his hand and he's got bright red hair and a
Yeah.
great big orange beard.
Yeah.
I opened my eyes and I thought, oh dear. And I looked straight at him and I said to him, well, I'm not dead because you're not a fucking angel. And he fell about all over the place. And the guy, this doctor man said, she going to be okay. Like there's no putting this one down. She's going to
Unbelievable.
be okay.
It
And
doesn't surprise me, Annie. Your wit at the craziest of moments
I
is
don't
just
know if it's wit or
awesome.
shit, Kerrie, but
Yeah.
it's what it's my go-to.
Yeah.
It's it's just if you
Yeah.
make it funny, it takes the sting out of
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
you know?
That's it. And you mentioned before, and I'm going to repeat this one, if your partner is being a dick, let them be a dick. Right? Okay. So you mentioned that one before. But that then leads into the second thing that Chopra talked about with the law of pure potentiality, and that is non judgment.
Mm.
Right? And acting from a space of non judgment. Now, I think that's the harder of the two for me personally, right? Because I have a sense of right and wrong, like I've been brought up with a very strong ethical sense of this is right and that is wrong and this is black and this is white. So that one for me, I think, was the harder one for me to be non-judgmental in a non-judgy way, right? Because let's be honest, right? If we're being judgmental, we're normally criticizing, right? Let's be honest, right? So I had to really think about that one because I thought, okay, so one is the stillness and the alignment and just being able to go with that flow. But then the second part of that is not being judgmental of what happens or what other people do or say or what happens through our day. And I think that's the trickier one. So what do you think about that one?
Do you know what I think about that? I think we don't see things the way they are. We see things the way we are
Mm-hmm.
because you're black and white.
Mm,
Like everything in my world is gray.
mm,
Everything. There is no, like, it's like Pirates of the Caribbean. There are no rules. It's just
mhm.
guidelines.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
all about the parlay.
Mhm.
And that's how I operate.
Yeah.
And in, in my defense, I think so many of the people I met, because I worked in domestic violence, I worked with single
Mm,
moms, I worked in children's services, I worked in the jails.
yeah.
And, like one of the things I really, really struggled with was mums that, especially in domestic violence,
Mhm.
that parents that were beating up on the children, because I that's something that really triggers me. And I had to step myself through that and
Mm,
say, They were doing the best they can with the skills that they had. And for me, it's about don't judge them because they probably don't have the emotional resilience to look after themselves, never mind look after anybody else. So for me, it was back to education.
Yeah,
And I
and back
think,
to help. Yeah,
yeah,
back to
and
providing
because
help
I was
instead
in
of judging. Yeah.
community, every
Mhm.
single person's got a story. Like even my boys in jail,
Mhm.
every single person's got a story. And
Mm.
once you get through the, oh my goodness, this is a terrible thing, or this person's done a terrible thing, or whatever, whatever, when you get to the story, there's always, like, it's like, don't judge people until you've walked a mile in their shoes
Mhm.
because you don't know what they're going through. And
Mhm.
like, I've just been blessed to have been part of so many people's stories. And I
Mhm.
think from my perspective, that's knocked a lot of the judgment out of me.
Yeah.
And I've been homeless. I've been unemployed. I've had no
Mhm.
money. I've been a shit mother. I've been a good mum some days, but a lot of the time I was crap because I
Mm.
was scared and I was exhausted and I was working 3 jobs just to feed them.
Yeah.
And and that's not how I presented. I presented
Mhm.
in business clothes, looking like I was on top of everything.
Professional
Yeah,
altogether. Yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
an absolute shit of a mess.
Mm.
And you know, and you never know what's behind the facade.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's usually hurt or fear or resentment or
Yeah.
terror, or there's always something behind it.
The
So
things that
that's
trigger
where,
it. Yeah.
yeah, and that's where that judgment stuff comes in. Like if
Mhm.
somebody's having an acapevia or a hissy fit,
Mhm.
don't be judging. I don't feel that there's a mother in the universe that hasn't carried a screaming child under their arm out of a shopping
Yeah.
centre,
Yeah.
you know, and like people will say, oh, that's terrible. And I just think, oh
Yeah.
God, poor women, like
Yeah.
you
Exactly.
must be so embarrassed. You're doing a great job. You didn't kill him. You
Mhm.
didn't run him over with a trolley. You're doing a great job, you know, because
Mhm.
see things from other people's perspective, not
Yes.
necessarily your own. And it's
Yeah.
like being an observer. Try to see the big picture because
Mhm.
that's what flips the judgment. And I mean, by no means am I perfect. Like I'll look at people and I'll think, do they not have a mirror? Why on earth? you know,
That that's the thing. So I decided, yeah, I decided over the last week that I'm going to challenge myself on this because part of what I do, and I work in a compliance area, is I do judge things. I judge, is that best practice? Is it not best practice? Are we doing the right thing? Are we not doing the right thing? So I'm constantly judging as part of my job. So I really had to challenge myself a bit differently in that way. So what I did was I started putting some post-it notes up in my car, even, right? Like around the place that I would see. And I'm saying to myself, I shall judge no one and nothing that occurs. And that's what I put on my post-it notes. So I'm reminding myself. Now, what that did was that when I did go into that judgment, well, why would you make that decision or how could you make that mistake? It's so blatantly obvious that's not something that you would do or whatever it might be. And that's not just a work thing, that's, can be home or whatever, right? Um, so I consciously then started catching myself out and went, oh, that's a bit judgy, right? And as soon as I started acknowledging it to myself, I started viewing it differently, right? So I was changing that whole perspective. Now it's practice, I think, because I've always been in such, particularly work roles and different things where I have to make judgment calls against regulations and legislation. So that has probably been the challenge for me in the last week. So you know what? I'm going to give that to everyone for homework this week, and say put that little saying up. So you're going to say, I shall judge nobody, I shall judge no one and no situation that occurs. And I want to see if you can continually say that to yourself every day and try and catch yourself out and acknowledge when you do, whether we can shift into that non-judgmental space. Because if we can do that, and if I can do that, so I'm challenging myself as well through this, then we are then doing that effortless effort, to go with the flow. and just adjust to the environment that we're in, right? And then we're in a better place to manifest actually what we want and align with that better. Because as soon as we judge things, I think we stop our creativity. When we no longer judge it and we go, okay, well, this is the situation, all of a sudden these additional creative answers and responses and different ways to manage things started coming into my head. So I noticed a significant shift by just doing that. So I'm going to give everyone that as a challenge, because I want to see if by doing that actually then opens yourself up to other possibilities and therefore pure potentiality of creating something better, right? So than what you had been. So anyway, there's a little bit of homework for this week.
Now, Gail has just said, it's lucky our brains don't broadcast. I've started working on my internal thinking too. My friend read a book, and it was written by a Swedish author, and it was about this village where everybody could read your mind. I had nightmares for bloody weeks about that. I thought if I lived in that village, I'd have to run away. There is no way I could live in that village. Wendy, judging yourself.
Hugely, and apply it to yourself too. So don't just apply it to what you think of another situation or a decision someone's made or a situation that's occurred, or don't just apply it to that. You have to apply it to judging yourself too. So then it becomes, oh, well, I did that. But yeah, I might do it differently. And then it opens up again a world of creative possibilities, of pure potential to do things or learn something or move in a different direction. So I think that's right. If you judge something as good, that's when you're in alignment though, Nate. That's slightly different, I think, because when you judge or see something as glorious and positive, and there's your word, Annie, see it as glorious, you're actually aligning with it. So you are in the flow and you are in the energy, and that's where you want to be. So that's my opinion, of course. So yeah, but I think that's the way. Yeah, Karen, I agree. I think everyone, self-judgment can be our biggest problem in doing that. And I think that just being able to go, okay, and catch ourselves out, and then we can open ourselves up to other possibilities. Because guess what? None of us are perfect, but we all have the ability to continuously evolve into a higher level of happiness and joy and abundance and manifesting what we really want, because that is the contrast to the things that we judge ourselves about. So in letting that go, we can move to the contrast, the opposite of that.
See that self-judgment stuff too. I bet that every single thing that you judge yourself on is bad. What about judging yourself on the things that you've done good? I did a really good job, because that's the bit we forget. And that judgmenty stuff on yourself, that's back to Kerrie and her ego. Because if you do it, then you've done it and you can't undo it. And it's a reflection rather than, oh God, I'm an idiot. It's, I probably shouldn't have done that. That, or I could have done that better. So it's a point of reflection, rather than, oh my God, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Like I say that 50 times a day. And the thing about that though is, you're not stupid or an idiot. You've done something silly or you've done something stupid, but that doesn't make you stupid. So when you flip that and then and think about all the things that you can judge yourself on, then it balances. Glorious is a wonderful word. It's one of my favorite, but I've got a new one. My new word is lush. Everything is lush. I like that word. Gloriously lush.
It makes me feel lush. There you go. Look, glorious makes Nate feel lush. There you are.
And yeah, Nate says, awesome. You've done something you can learn from. And that's just, that's what it's about.
Yeah, 100%. So homework this week, guys. spend some time in stillness, in that meditative state, and put a question to your higher self. But instead of trying to think through an answer, let the answer flow back through. So try and spend 10 minutes a day in that stillness and meditative state. Secondary to that, use what I was talking about with the judgment. I'm not going to judge anyone or any situation, and catch yourself out when you're doing it.
Yeah.
So
And then
that's
if that happens, just instead of jumping into, oh my God, that person's an idiot, go back to, that's interesting.
Yes, hug a tree and watch sunsets. And then, Gail, I'm going to challenge that one even further now that you've put that up there. Don't just look at the tree or hug the tree or look at the grass or look at a flower that's blooming. Look at a flower in the crack of the sidewalk that's blooming, right? Think about that, because they're really still meeting their full potentiality in a difficult environment, right? But ask it, if you can do that, look at that, and then in that meditative state, ask nature, what can you tell me about effortless effort? And rather than thinking through the answer, start to see what comes back in. Because I think in that connection, we can start to learn a lot as well from nature and from what's around us, because nature just goes with the flow. It doesn't resist, So I think we've got a lot to learn from that. So yeah, exactly. Go hug a tree, watch a sunset, and ask nature the question. See what comes back. Okay, well, Annie, we should probably see if anyone has any questions for us. What do you think?
Yep, I've got different cards today.
Me too. I've got some new cards today. Thought I'd share with everybody. Called Heart and Soul. If you can see those.
It's my 25th birthday this week. Bullshit. Can I get a card for the year ahead? Of course you can. I'm not judging. How interesting.
Yeah. Did you catch yourself, Annie?
What I've got for you is the dream. So this card is saying this year. Now, what's interesting too is it's a 6. The card is a number 6. This 6 is about balance. So for you, it's about the dream, and your dream's coming true this year.
Okay. So this beautiful little sunset card here, if you can see that, it's like an aura surrounding you. And what's coming through and the message of this particular card is that an angel surrounds you with rainbow wings, here to reconnect you with your true nature, the balanced, healthy, sensitive, and loving you. Remember that there is more to life than your achievements. Consciously connecting your spiritual and physical realities will help you reconnect to the sacred, infinite, and creative part of yourself that is yearning to play a greater role in your life.
Woohoo.
There you go.
Now,
Who have we got? We got Izza. Just love a card. Oh, did we miss Wendy up there too? Wendy, I'll come back to you.
Yeah. Isabella, I've got maturity. For me, that feels like things are actually, the energy is gathering and things are coming together for you. Things are ready and ripening.
And Izza, what's come through is this beautiful card here. Right? Do not discount your imagination, for it has great power. Amazing things will unfold for you if you pay attention to your imagination. Respect and honor it, for just below the surface of this seemingly real world, there exists a dreamlike world full of imagination. What you imagine is not fiction, Very often it can be the beginning of a wonderful new creation. And that's it. And that's very much what we've been talking about now. Allow your imagination and your full pure potentiality to come through. So Wendy had one here.
Yeah. Wendy, I've got politics. And to get some clarification around that, I pulled this one. This one's talking, whoa, that way. This card is the outsider. The politics are all the crap that you have to listen to and all that shit that gets in your head. And it's the outsider is about looking through the gate, knowing that there's beautiful brightness through the gate, but feeling that you're stuck because of all this politics and stuff that you feel you have to deal with. Your homework is to spin around the kitchen singing Let It Go.
Yeah. And look, here's the beautiful synchronicity coming in again. Because what this is saying for you, Wendy, is that you're a beautiful soul and you're full of wisdom and compassion and great love. But you may be feeling trapped, and it's time to just free yourself of any guilt where you feel like you're responsible or accountable for anything or anyone else, and that has kept you feeling stuck. So allow the sacred rhythms of life to flow through you once more, and you can't make this up. So look at the synchronicity of what spirit and the guided messages coming through Annie, and what is spirit is bringing through for you through me as well.
And did you see me laughing? Sorry. Gail, have we done Gail?
No, I don't think so. I think we did. We've done Nate, we've done Wendy.
Ooh, Gail, I've got an adventure. See how she's walking into the light and it's all these beautiful colours. You are off on an adventure. You should have went with Nate. He's having one.
Yes, exactly. Although I'm vicariously living through his trip, I feel like I've been on a holiday too, which is awesome. Okay. So, Gail, what I've got for you here, you can see this beautiful card, is as the seasons of life turn, remember your life and all your experiences are driven by the invisible wheels of love. Life is an eternal ocean, and endings and rebirth are the rising and falling of the same wave. Attached to every ending is a new beginning. And that's what I feel is happening for you. There's a real transition happening, and I feel like you're being moved in a new direction.
Anita. Ooh, I've got the lovers. Passion. Coming together again. That's beautiful. Big love around you.
Okay, so, oops, Anita, I just had a couple of cards jump for you here. So hang on a sec. Okay, so Anita, can you see this beautiful card here? You know who that reminds me of? I wonder if it reminds you of someone as well. What this card is saying to you is you are protected by a higher power that also wants to help you. If the path seems blocked, there's a good cause. Take this as divine intervention, a sign from above, and wait. When the time is right, all flows with ease. So if you're looking for what's the direction or what's the new path or where you're going to be focusing your energy, it is going to come. Don't force it, because right now they are putting things in your way, right? Because they want you to wait for exactly the right timing and when you're ready to move into that space.
Yes, Anita, that's the very first thing I thought.
Me too.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think have we missed anybody?
If we've missed you, please put your hand up or
please
repost your question. Now, we did have that Maria who was in earlier.
Yeah, I scrolled up. I don't know if she's still here, but I'll
Yeah.
pick a card for her anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Let's just pull a card, and if she watches back later, she'll be able to see her, that we didn't miss her out.
Miss Maria, new vision. This is the Archer, and it's new vision. Face your true north. Look at things in a different way. You're heading in the right direction.
Okay, and Maria, what I had for you, see this beautiful card here. You are entering a deeply emotional time in which you ponder the deepest spiritual questions of life. And this is a time for you of self-discovery that deepens your connection to Mother Earth, your family, and your friends. At times, your emotions may overflow, but this is a good thing, for those precious moments bring a great gift of healing. So there's going to be great connections coming in for you in the coming month. And Karen just jumped in. Sorry, Karen, if we missed you before.
I'm getting there.
Yep, sorry, me too. I'm just replacing cards. They're actually tricky cards to shuffle in this shape, just saying.
I've got, for Karen, I've got awareness. For me, the feeling around that card is everything is not as it seems. That's how that feels. Kerrie, can you back that up?
Yeah. This one here, you can see the little boat on the ocean. And what it's saying is, if you are feeling a little lost and confused, wondering which direction, if any, to take, and questioning what it is that you really want from life, perhaps it's time to consult with your inner child. And we did the perfect meditation to take you to your inner child today. So maybe do that again and give yourself a little bit more time with your inner child. You know, the ones you've kept locked away for ages, the ones who hold the essence of the real you. Isn't it time to listen to your heart? So this is about allowing yourself to reconnect with you. Very important. Spirit just jumped in. This is going to be very important for you.
Okay, so this is for Les. This is one of my very favorite cards. Tarot means the road or the way, and the fool, it's the fool's journey that goes through the tarot. So every single time this card comes up, what this card says for me is that it's the start of a new chapter of your life. So that's where I feel he may have a big week, but he's about to begin a brand new chapter in his life.
Mm-hmm. And here we go with another beautiful and lovely little synchronicity around that, and I'll try and get it right with the camera. Is sometimes the true purpose of things is hidden from view. Something doesn't quite make sense at the moment, but it soon will. All is about to change. A blessing is on its way, and many more will follow. Soon you will feel as though it's raining rose petals from heaven.
Woohoo!
And that is awesome. And can I just say that as I'm reading this through Spirit, it's also coming through talking about, we're finally learning just to let go and let the universe take care of things because everything is falling into place. And they're the rose petals that are about to fall. There you go.
Now, I've done something really naughty. Why does that not surprise you?
Ah,
I have pulled a card for Kerrie.
oh, have you?
Yes. They're Rebecca Campbell cards. So I
Ah,
just thought I would pull one for you. And as God is my judge, it says, align your life. What is not aligned or needs to change. Can you see that, Miss Kerrie?
I can indeed.
I just thought,
And
and it's the same color as our
it
banners.
is. It's the same color as our banner. And I'm just going to point out on a little note, Annie, hold your nails up. for a sec. We just realized this tonight. Can you see our nail colors also align? I just wanted to share. How funny is that? It's the teals and the purples and the pinks and blues.
What are we like?
Oh, too funny. Okay, Annie, in
Yes,
return, I
precious.
just want to bring I just asked Spirit, please pass something on. Now, here you go. This one is for you.
Oh,
Now,
that's
if you
pretty.
can see that, yeah, it's very pretty. That's the energy swirling up within you. So, you are tuning in to the subtle and divine force within you, and you will sense the subtle and divine force within yourself and all living things. Over the coming days, there's a heightened sense of spiritual connection, the goddess of motherhood, magic, and miracles. Now, there you go. We're not working hard on what we're
It's
visualizing and
lush,
manifesting.
apparently. Look, it's lush.
It's lush. Awesome.
I think we'll go now.
I think we will. Look, that just works so well. Yeah, look, it's our branding. You're right, Nate. Look, we're all in tune. We had a laugh today. Both got our nails done. Look at our colours. They match our screensaver.
Mine are holograms, so they go pink and they go rainbow. I love them.
Yeah,
Just love them.
yeah,
Anyway, enough of this nonsense. We're going
yeah.
to
They
toddle
are
off.
beautiful cards. They are
Do your
beautiful.
homework, peeps. Do your
Have a
homework.
yeah.
Homework.
Have
And
a
gloriously lush week.
yes.
Fortnight. Off to
Yeah,
the Acropolis. Off you
yeah.
pop.
And thank you everyone for engaging with us and sharing your feedback and comments through the whole session. We absolutely love that. Communicating with you all and sharing insights and getting your feedback into what we're sharing. We really do love this time. And hopefully this time is, as I said earlier, a bit of a can just sit back, let go, connect into all this, and hopefully you enjoy it too.
Look out for my September tarot reading, 27th, 28th. It will be around then.
Mm-hmm.
We will see you all soon.
Have an awesome week, everybody.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye.